everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're talking about AJ Dybantsa and Darryn Peterson in their recent matchup where Prolific beat Utah Prep. I just did this game on stream, but really wanted to give it a full video because of how absurd these two prospects are. Those two, Cam Boozer, insane top 3 for 2026. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff if you like the videos. We're just going to break down the film in kind of chronological order and go through the matchups. And from the get-go, Prolific Prep's plan was just to hard blitz Dybantsa, to trap him and force the ball out of his hands. And Dybantsa did a really nice job throughout this game making those plays. I've had some concerns about his playmaking in the past, but overall I thought he had a really good game. And then there's Peterson, who is one of the most ridiculous guard prospects I've ever seen. His floater touch is absurd, stopping on a dime here, hitting a contested elbow floater, and this is a really impressive pass. Most of AJ's best moments, I think, were in the earlier parts of this game, whereas Darryn probably closed it out a little better. But this is an awesome read, right? They're hard hedging, trying to force Dybantsa to the sideline with these two bodies, right? AJ's just going to loop it over Darryn Peterson's head and get his guy a pretty decent shot. Like, that is an awesome pass. And I think Dybantsa's ability to make these kind of higher level plays versus pressure is a really good sign. I don't think he has like the craziest advanced playmaking stuff of all time. Probably not as much as Darryn, but like, he won't need to be an elite passer given how crazy of a creator he is. And he's got some real nice defensive potential too. I think Darryn's defense, as we'll get to, is just phenomenal. AJ Dybantsa is definitely less consistent, but that's kind of how most 17-year-olds are. And Dybantsa has the ability to flip his hips, contest with his length, block shots, and that's a really good job on Darryn. We got a good amount of the Darryn versus Dybantsa matchup today, which was really awesome, and this was just a phenomenal pass. The pull-up is obviously very threatening here. Dybantsa loves to pull, but he sees his man Falesi cutting in from the baseline, fits it in there, and not like a perfectly placed pass, but leads his man for an easy layup. That's just really impressive vision and decision making. And like he said, in this first quarter, he just had no trouble picking apart these double teams and these traps, which I think is really impressive. Not a lot of young, tall ball handlers are like that. And just a lazy pass from Darryn Peterson here and a great read by AJ Dybantsa, trying to get a little slip screen, but Dybantsa just jumps that easily. And like I said, this was Dybantsa's quarter. Peterson's going to show up very, very soon, but Dybantsa kind of owned the first quarter. And we're going to see just a really nice comprehensive play here where Dybantsa functioning well as like an off-ball piece in this offense, which I really value off-ball skill. And I think Dybantsa showcases some really impressive ability. First starting off making a solid decision against that little double team, pump fake. He's so explosive with this hop step and loves to just step through, has great floater touch. So just really impressive work from Dybantsa. But now we're going to start to just, bro. This play is unbelievable. This really is like Donovan Mitchell meets like young Kobe. Like I don't even know. Like Darryn's athleticism and the way that he moves is just so rare. As I talked about in the video I did on him, but like splitting the pick and roll, exploding off of his left foot, hanging in the air and dunking in the half court. It is not easy to create half court dunks as like a sub 6'6" guy. And then very next possession, AJ comes in, takes a pull up. And part of my concern with AJ that I've talked about a little bit on this channel is some of his wiring and just approach, as I think he can much better exploit his tools as a driver. He's so explosive and has a wide open lane to the rim and can easily hopefully go through these help defenders, but Dybantsa settles for a long mid-range jumper. A lot of players can just clean up this decision making with better coaching or you know, however they do it, but definitely some players don't. And I think it's at least worth mentioning because I think Dybantsa has the ability to just go to the rim all the time and be really effective, which I think ultimately is how he becomes like a legit superstar, which of course I think he can be. Peterson, this is some initial great defense on Peterson, and just Darryn showcasing his endlessly deep bag of counters. Dybantsa, like when he really opens up his hips, look how fluidly he turns his hips on this initial kind of cut back inside. Like 1 second hip open, sliding, but Darryn is just so crafty and can always carve out space and stuff like that. And Darryn's defense and his motor is just so impressive to me. Darryn will dive on the floor in a way that not a lot of top level prospects will. And again, the quick hands here, poking this ball out from the ball handler. He is a menace on the defensive end, as I talked about in his video, was a special defensive player this summer in EYBL. And has just a ridiculous handle, and his ability to navigate the floor and get to his spots combined with the feel and the processing. Oh my god. I love this subtle play right here. Behind the backs into traffic. Dybantsa is going to stab at the ball, but Peterson just smoothly escape dribbles, flows into another pick and roll, bursts downhill. He is so explosive, and because he has height, he can jump. He goes over the top to the corner for what ends up being a good look at three. But again, Darryn's ability to collapse the defense and make a good pass. I hate this camera angle. Some beautiful clips in this game from AJ and Darryn tainted by this really unnecessary camera angle, but we can see Darryn's easy burst, his ability to hang in the air, finish with his weak hand. He has some of the best left-handed touch or just weak-handed touch I can remember from a prospect of his age. And here's a great defensive rep on Dybantsa where he gets some help right there, but ultimately Darryn keeps him in front, forces him into a really tough fadeaway. And of course Dybantsa can make these shots, right? He is a very talented shot maker, but I think if you're prolific, you're okay with him taking these as opposed to dunks or free throws or wide open threes like Darryn has been creating a lot in this game. So again, a thing to note with like the wiring and the way he approaches basketball. Speaking of making it look easy, like Darryn just makes it, both of these guys do, but Darryn, I think, just makes the game look so easy. And this isn't great defense by Dybantsa, right? He's kind of lazily trying to like close out, and Peterson, like, look at his freaking shin angle. Look at how much he bends. Look at like the way he can contort his body and just move is very unnatural. And of course, just has the explosion to rise up and dunk over people. And to end the first half, he's going to splash in that pull-up three. So second quarter was kind of a Darryn takeover. And this was a play I really liked from AJ, even though he didn't end up scoring. This is exactly what I want every time they give him this pick and roll coverage. You have this open side of the floor. This whole part is open. That's not the thing I wanted. You have this whole painted area open. Just get in there. This is a great play by I believe Obi Akezi, a 2027 high-level big. Just really great mobility and size for him. But anyways, I care much less about the finish on that play because I know Dybantsa can finish than his ability to get downhill. And then we just go back to Darryn. Oh my goodness, the pass here. Great empty side action from Prolific Prep. Definitely think Prolific does a little bit better of a job than Utah Prep in terms of like running actions for Darryn and getting their guys going. Just like simple little floppy action to get Darryn into a two-man game with his big man. He's going to pass with his left hand, wrapping around the defender, and gets his big a wide open dunk there. Just easy second side actions, basic stuff, but Darryn is that passing feel really does extend to the defensive end, where he has such a knack for reading where pass lanes are going. Like instantly notices, head is turned, gonna jump back to float and try to deflect his pass, gets his hands up in the passing lanes. Just such an impressive instinctual defender, and just has that clear feel for the game. Another incredible pick and roll pass here by Peterson, where can definitely argue I think he leads us a little too far, but you have a big man with a big catch radius, and he still ends up drawing a foul. So Peterson's putting his teammates in positions to succeed, and it just blows by. Not Dybantsa's best defensive game overall. We saw some good moments, but I'm not really sure. I don't know if 30 thinks this is like a foul or just like yelling at Dybantsa for being too far up, but also, no shame getting blown by Peterson. He is an unbelievably quick player. The 0 to 60 ability that you just see NBA star guards have. And man, Dybantsa in the open floor is unbelievable. His change of direction with his behind the back, you can see how this defender's momentum is carrying him this way. So Dybantsa is simply going to stop on a dime, turn this way, and then explodes, hop steps through traffic. He's so good at creating horizontal separation with his vertical explosion. It's not just jumping over people, it's jumping through people. And he has like the Saquon Zion type hop step. It's more like grace instead of sheer force. And oh my goodness, some of the tough shots AJ can make, and he is an A+ foul grifter already at this age, and I say that as a compliment. I don't say that as a derogatory at all. Like, he is a gifted, foul baiter, grifter, sleight of hand, tricks of the trade, however you want to call it. Didn't end up getting a call there, but sometimes he can just hit the shots anyways because he is ridiculous. This was a play I really liked. That was kind of like a smaller play from Darryn that I think is another showcase of his feel for the game and his ability to play without the ball, which I think a lot of high usage creators definitely struggle with, where Peterson's going to get cut off here. He's one, not going to take a bad shot. I think a lot of young players just shoot a fadeaway here, and Darryn might make it, but what's he going to do? Kick the ball out, set a screen right here, and then fill into the corner. Gets wide open for a three and doesn't end up hitting it, but creates himself a really good shot. And great pass by Winters Grady as well to open up that play for him. Let's get Dybantsa here again, just going to do his thing, hang, draw a foul. As I talked about before, like so good at using his vertical jump in more ways than just dunking. Like he can hang in the air, bait for a foul, kind of flail his legs around and get defenders to bite in just the way he wants it. This is another great example of him getting to the rim despite the no finish, and another great play by Akezzi. Like look at him hedging out onto the perimeter, kind of in high drop, flipping his hips and contesting Dybantsa. Maybe I don't know if Dybantsa wanted the foul on that play, but point being, Dybantsa snaking through traffic right here, putting his dribble out in the vicinity of two defenders, and then that's a very tough contested finish, but I know AJ Dybantsa can finish. I don't need to see that from him. This is a great play by Peterson, and I think it's his third, like, or almost half-court dunk. But this is just Dybantsa falling asleep on a screen, and this is something that you see from basically every mega usage creator in high school basketball, even Peterson, where it's his responsibility, at least partly, to attach to Peterson and to keep him from just running free off of the screen, but they can't recover. And yeah, Utah Prep's not really helping them out much in terms of rim protection. Definitely want to know, especially for both teams, but especially for Utah Prep's lack of rim protection when they don't have bigs on the floor, especially. But another great POA stop by Dybantsa, who, again, I think has some defensive issues like we talked about, but as just a pure man defender, his length, his fluidity, his explosiveness, his intensity, all really impressive when he wants to lock in and end up pulling up for three. Excellent sequence there from Dybantsa. Really, really good stuff. On to the fourth quarter where I think this I think that was already on to the late fourth quarter though, where Darryn really turned on the Jets and closed this game out for Prolific Prep. Here, great off-ball shake, faking the kind of baseline cut, but then actually just twirling around the screen there. Two defenders show at Peterson, opening up, easy pass over the top. And Nico Bundalo, who had a really nice game in this game for Prolific, was able to score. And this is just an unbelievable defensive rep. I think Utah Prep actually ended up getting a rebound and scoring. But Darryn's, again, we see the just unnatural slitheriness and his ability to duck his shoulder and turn around, change directions, evade the screen while going full speed, tracking the ball, getting a great contest on that shot. Like, that's not normal, that athleticism and that movement and his bendiness. And Prolific, I think, did a good job throughout the game, especially towards the end, just getting the ball out of Dybantsa's hands. Like, we're going to show two. We'll live with an open corner three, and credit to Dybantsa for making the right plays. I think there were a lot of simple passes like this, but those count for quite a bit in my book, at least. And great rebound by Darryn. And then Darryn just closing out the game with his foul drawing. And once again, this freaking camera angle is driving me crazy, but I'm not really sure the plan here. It looks like they're kind of soft hedging, right? They're showing Rasmussen and then having Dybantsa try to fight back over, but they don't get in front of Peterson. Like, they just let him walk to the rim. You cannot soft hedge against a player like Darryn Peterson. I don't know. That was just bugging me. I think we're going to have one more Darryn Peterson clip in here of him just closing this game out. Tie game, and is going to make one of those plays that just screams special. And shout out to Winters Grady for hitting the shot here. We'll work through our camera angle kind of stuff here, but Peterson, the hesitation first. He kind of stops and reads the floor. The stop-start, you can see, explode to the right, hangs in air. There's 4 bodies on him, whips it out to the corner. That is a ridiculous, ridiculous play, and Prolific ended up winning the game from there. But this was one of the best prospect head-to-head matchups we'll see. I mean, we saw Boozer Peterson earlier, which was awesome. Peterson was phenomenal. We've seen plenty of Dybantsa versus Boozer, We've been blessed with these incredible matchups, and we don't really get these in a lot of seasons and very often, but it's cool that we get to see these guys play each other, marquee matchups. And man, Dybantsa was awesome in this game, but I really think Peterson stole the show. Obviously Prolific won the game, but his impact in every facet of the game, from defense to pick and roll playmaking to his incredible half court dunks, And then Dybantsa, of course, the passing was great as well, which I really like seeing from him alongside the creation and some of the downhill stuff. But let me know if you want more high school stuff, and if so, what players or things you want me to cover. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell if you're enjoying this on our way to 10K. I love you all, and happy holidays.